Welcome to a tale of mystery and Christmas magic. Tonight, we'll journey through the life of Ebenezer Scrooge, a man whose icy heart is forever changed by three ghostly visitors. This is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, an unforgettable story of redemption and the true spirit of the holidays. Let's begin. On a freezing Christmas Eve, in the bustling streets of Victorian London, all the shops glowed with warmth and cheer. But in one cold, dimly lit office, Ebenezer Scrooge sat, his face twisted in a permanent scowl. Scrooge wasn't just a miser, he was the definition of greed itself. Christmas. Bah! Humbug, he spat whenever anyone mentioned it. That evening, as Scrooge closed his accounting books, his cheerful nephew Fred burst in. "Merry Christmas, Uncle!" Fred exclaimed. "Christmas is a waste of time and money," Scrooge snapped. "But Uncle, Christmas is a time for kindness, generosity, and love," Fred insisted. Scrooge waved him off, muttering, "Good afternoon," which really meant, "Get out." Act 1, Marley's Ghost. That night, as Scrooge sat by his meager fire, something strange happened. The clock struck midnight, and the air grew icy. Suddenly, a loud clang echoed through the house. Chains rattled, and the ghostly figure of Jacob Marley appeared. Marley, Scrooge's former business partner, floated before him, his body wrapped in heavy chains. "Scrooge!" Marley groaned, his voice haunting and full of sorrow. "I am cursed to wander the earth, carrying the chains I forged in life. Greed and selfishness did this to me. But I've come to warn you. Tonight, you'll be visited by three spirits. They are your only chance to escape my fate." Before Scrooge could respond, Marley vanished into the darkness, leaving Scrooge trembling in his chair. Act 2, The Ghost of Christmas Past. The clock struck 1, and a bright light filled the room. A glowing figure appeared, the ghost of Christmas past. "Come with me," the spirit said softly. Scrooge felt himself lifted from his bed, and suddenly, they were in his childhood. He saw himself as a lonely boy, sitting in a cold boarding school, abandoned by his father. Scrooge's lip trembled as he watched the younger version of himself reading by candlelight, dreaming of better days. Then the scene changed. Scrooge was now a young man, happy and full of life, working for Mr. Fezziwig, a kind and generous boss. He saw a Christmas party full of music, dancing, and laughter. For a moment, Scrooge smiled. But the joy didn't last. The spirit showed him the moment he lost his fiancée. "You've changed, Ebenezer," she said. "You love money more than me." "Stop!" Scrooge cried. But the spirit's light faded, leaving Scrooge alone and filled with regret. Act 3, The Ghost of Christmas Present. Soon, the clock struck 2, and the room filled with a hearty laugh. The second spirit appeared, a giant figure in a green robe, surrounded by delicious food and glowing lights. "Come, Scrooge," the ghost of Christmas present boomed. They traveled to a small, humble home. Inside, Scrooge saw Bob Cratchit, his overworked and underpaid clerk, celebrating Christmas with his family. Despite their poverty, they were cheerful. Scrooge's heart sank when he saw Tiny Tim, Bob's sickly son. The boy's voice was soft, but his spirit was strong. "God bless us, everyone," Tim said with a smile. "Will he live?" Scrooge whispered. The spirit's face grew serious. "If things don't change, this will be his last Christmas." The spirit then took Scrooge to other homes, where people celebrated Christmas with laughter and love. Scrooge realized how much joy he was missing, but before he could speak, the spirit vanished. Act 4, the ghost of Christmas yet to come. Finally, the clock struck 3. The room went dark, and a shadowy figure appeared, the ghost of Christmas yet to come. The spirit said nothing but pointed with a skeletal hand, guiding Scrooge through the streets of London. Scrooge saw people discussing the death of a man. "No one will miss him," they said coldly. The spirit led him to a graveyard, where Scrooge froze in terror. The spirit pointed to a tombstone. Scrooge's name was carved into it. "Please, spirit," Scrooge begged. "Tell me this is only a possible future. I'll change. I'll honor Christmas in my heart." But the spirit vanished, leaving Scrooge sobbing in the snow. Act 5, Scrooge's transformation. Scrooge woke up in his bed, the morning light streaming through the window. It was Christmas Day. He laughed, danced, and shouted, "I've been given another chance." He sent a giant turkey to the Cratchit family, attended his nephew's Christmas dinner, and walked through the streets, wishing everyone a Merry Christmas. Scrooge kept his promise. He became a second father to Tiny Tim, helped those in need, and celebrated Christmas with all his heart. From that day on, he was known as the kindest man in London. And so, the story of Ebenezer Scrooge reminds us that no matter how dark our hearts may seem, the light of kindness and love can always guide us back. Merry Christmas, and may your hearts be full of joy. Thank you for joining me on this magical journey through a Christmas carol. I hope you enjoyed this story as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. If you'd like to hear more stories and learn English in a fun and engaging way, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on notifications. Happy holidays, and I'll see you in the next story.